All right, what up, what up, what up, what up? We here with my dude Rashidi Locario. Mark KT appraisal, so Miles should be showing up. Kayleen probably gonna show up, and we're gonna get this cracking. You feel what I'm saying? So you came up with this topic. So what is this topic specifically about? You know, when we're talking about this. So what's your thoughts on this?
Yeah, man. I mean, pretty much this topic is just going about life insurance and its importance, man. I mean, a lot of times, I tell people, you just don't want to leave people with memories when you die. You want to leave them with some money.
Right, that's facts. I agree. Shit. So the thing is, how does a person, or first of all, before we get into that, what is life insurance for those who don't know? Because we got to start from the beginning. We got to, because some people are like, what does that even mean? What is that? What is the point of it? What is that about? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man. The best definition I like to say for life insurance is for if you die, or in today's generation, because it's updated, or if you get critically ill, you have money to replace the income that you are bringing in. So, for example, if if you are a single mother and you have your kids and you were to die, who would pay for your kids to go to school? Who would pay for your kids to take care of your kids going forward? Life insurance pays for that. You know what I mean? Right. It gives money. So your life, whoever you left over, their life could continue on as if you never left financially.
Right. That's what's up. And so, why do you think so many people don't take it seriously though? Because I feel like a lot of people, you talk about life insurance, they just tune out. They're like, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do you think people just kind of is just on that type of wavelength when it comes to this?
Yeah, I mean, to be upfront, it's not tangible. You know what I mean? Life insurance is not tangible. It doesn't happen until you die. Most people don't want to face death, don't want to talk about death, don't want to acknowledge that it exists and it's going to happen. So people push it off. I mean, the difference is with, it's just like car insurance. Most people don't want it, but they know that if they drive their car and they get in an accident, they don't have no car insurance, they have no car. So they take that insurance more serious. But when it comes to life insurance, it's like, I ain't gonna die to 75. I'll worry about that at that point. And then when I'm at 75, what I'm worried about, I'm about to die anyway.
Right.
You know what I mean? So that's really most people's approach.
And so who's the people that can actually who can get life insurance? Is it anybody? Like anyone in your family, or does it have to be? Is there a specific criteria? Like what's the specific thing? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, so it's a combination of your health, you know what I mean, your health and what's going on in your life and your age, heavily based off of age and health. So that's why it's better to get life insurance at a way younger age. You know what I mean? But, it costs you less money, way less money, and you get more profit off of it. But that's the basic criteria, man, age and health. So, for example, if you get a life insurance policy for your child, it's dirt cheap. You know what I mean? It follows from the rest of their life. And the older you get, the more expensive it is. Because let's be honest, the older you get, the closer you are to dying. That's the reality situation. So that's why it's more expensive. But the criteria is just health. So if you're in real good health and you're 35, you get a decent policy. If you're real good in health at 45, it's going to cost you more money, but you get a decent policy. Now, where it gets tricky is if them same ages, if you have ailments, diabetes, high blood pressure, all kinds of things, it gets even more expensive because now you have risk factors that can cause you to die a lot sooner or abruptly. You know what I mean?
And how much money typically, let's say somebody starts to, get life insurance or whatever, or they started up and they've been, doing it for 20 years and then they die. You know what I'm saying? Like how much money usually a month? Is it like, do they pick how much they give a month, or what's the protocol for that?
Yeah, as far as that goes, it's all about how you set it up. So most life insurance policies, if you have a whole life policy, or if you have a term policy, you get one lump sum. So hypothetically speaking, say if you got a $200,000 policy, you die. Whoever you left that money for, they get that money right there on the spot. That $200,000. Once they verify information, may take about a week. You get that money right there on the spot, type of thing. So you normally get it in a lump sum. You can set it up where you don't do lump sums, where you can do in payments, but most people don't do that. You just want to get the money and do what you want to do with the money.
Right. Now I'm gonna ask a crazy ass question. Now, what if somebody in your family knows that you got $200,000. They're gonna get $200,000 if you die, right? Now, what happens if they set you up to die? does that affect them getting it if they like? How does that work out? Because I'm just saying. Because if you know, because there was a story about that. I don't know. I forgot if it was specifically that, but I remember there was this dude who I think was this young dude. He was either a rapper. He was trying to come up with whatever it is. And he killed his mother to get $90,000 or some shit like that. I think it was. You know what I'm saying? So in that case, it's like, you know, what happens in those situations? They definitely ain't getting the money, right? Like it's
correct. Yeah, correct. So in those scenarios, you're not gonna get the money. So if you commit a felony to get the life insurance policy, you're gonna get the money. Or even if you're trying to commit suicide. So it's crazy. The life insurance, if you're trying to commit suicide to give your family money, there's a 2-year waiting period on most life insurance policies like that. So pretty much if you're trying to kill yourself to help your family out, you got to not kill yourself for 2 years. So,
wow.
So suicide and felonies, yeah, is that real? Is that
real? Wait. So you can't kill yourself for 2 years, or they won't give the money for 2 years to your family?
No, for 2 years. So it's a suicide
clause.
Oh, so after you sign up for the policy, you got so you can't kill yourself for 2 years.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yo, that's crazy.
But you know the funny part though, imagine the events that brought up those rules.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You know, imagine the events that made them have to say, you know what, we should probably put a 2-year policy on this shit because niggas is killing themselves left and right after they sign up for the fucking policy.
Exactly. Right.
But, yeah, with that murdering shit, you gotta I mean, look, if you could do it in a way that nobody will ever find out, then maybe you could. You know what I'm saying? You know, you pay a crackhead, you know, a 8-ball to kill somebody in your family. Maybe it'll go through. You know what I'm saying? If they can't connect you to the 8-ball to the crackhead, you good.
Right.
But there's a thing with that. You can't isn't there a but if it's an accident or a natural death, there's no like even if it's a year or a couple of months after you signed up.
Yeah. Literally, if you have a policy and it's all natural as accident, you can file a policy today and then 2 days later and die and get the whole amount. You know what I mean? Like that's literally Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. Shout out to everybody in the chat, man. Appreciate y'all being here. It's crazy though because. I think you know these are the type of things that might happen in some cases. So I think it's good for people to know so that they don't get no ideas. You know what I'm saying? To do some stupid shit. And we're not condoning y'all killing your family members. Just want to let y'all know so y'all don't be like, oh, they were saying on the show. Nah, we ain't doing none of that type of shit here. You know what I'm saying? Now, so RKT appraisal. So y'all help people with the life insurance stuff, like so y'all help people get up on that, or do y'all just work with companies that do that? How does that work? You guys?
Correct. So we work with a brokerage firm that has access to multiple insurance companies, you know, to get your life insurance policy. So this way you pretty much guaranteed to get the best rate because it's not just one company. We don't represent just one company, but just multiple companies to get life insurance policies.
Right. Yeah. And so what's the cost generally? Like what, like in between, like from this, like what's the least someone can pay and what's the most somebody could pay like monthly to make this happen?
Yeah, man. So I mean, it's a loaded question. You know, to be honest, we'll give you a couple of examples. You know what I mean? A kid that gets a life insurance policy at 12 years old. You know what I mean? That policy, you know, that policy can be literally like, you know, $10 a month. You know what I mean?
Wow.
It's about $100,000 worth of life insurance. That's why it's good to get it young because for that particular example, you get a life insurance policy for your child at that young age. At that point in time, it stays that rate forever. You lock it in. And so they have that policy for the rest of their life and it's dirt cheap. Now, on the other flip side of it, someone that's about 30 years old, that's when it really starts creeping up in price. Someone that's 30 years old, if they're in good health, they might only pay something like $30, $40 a month and get anywhere from like $100,000 to $200,000. Now, somebody that 30 years old that has health conditions, you know, blood pressure or diabetes or combination, that same person might be paying $80 a month for that $100,000, $200,000. You know, for the policy, but it's well worth it. And of course, it gets worse when you're, you know, 50, 60 years old. You're at the end of the road. You can still get a policy if you're in good health.
Right.
It's going to cost you though. That policy might legit cost you anywhere from $150 to $400 a month. Still worth it, but that's a lot of money to shell out for life insurance at that point if you wait that late in life. You know what I mean? But if you're also 50, 60 and you have a whole bunch of health conditions, you know what I mean, you may not be eligible for life insurance. You have alternatives to life insurance products like final expense policy. So, you know, to keep it simple, someone might say, you know, life insurance come and say, like, hey, listen, you're too old, you got too many sicknesses. We won't give you a life insurance policy, but we'll at least give you a policy where you can bury yourself comfortably. So, you know, so they'll give you like 15, 20K to at least cover the funeral costs. So if you do die, someone's not actually paying for you to go to paying for your own funeral. Your whole family got to scramble to bury you. You know what I mean? So,
interesting. So LTSD said, I'm a licensed life insurance agent in Texas. It's called the suicide clause. If you kill yourself within 1 year of signing a policy, you don't get the money. That's crazy, man. So y'all don't be out here trying to kill yourselves and trying to get this shit cracking because it ain't gonna work out for your family. So when you do this, so you specifically choose who gets the money in the family, right? Like you don't, it don't just be like, oh, we're just distributing it to everybody.
Yeah, it's called the beneficiary.
Right.
Correct.
And then what happens if that beneficiary, like what happens if something happens to that beneficiary? Is you have like a second beneficiary, third beneficiary? Like is it like a list?
Exactly. So, right there, exactly. You got to name how many beneficiaries you want. If such and such die, you want to give it to this person. That person died, gives that person. Who's second in charge? Who's third in charge? You literally control how you want to handle it down the pecking order. So if you want to just slap 2 people on there, and that's all you guys, 2 people, that's all you got. You know, so that's how it works with that. And I mean, you know, the other thing I want to bring up too, though, because you know, address a topic like you said in this Lucario, as far as people always joke around with life insurance, they don't take it serious. To be honest with you, life insurance will increase your wealth. Literally, I want to throw some stats out there. A person that gets a whole life policy, that means a policy that you pay for the rest, you know, that lasts for your whole life. You increase on that policy 6 to 8% a year on average. That's the average. So if you get a whole life policy and your policy is worth 100,000, you increase on average 6 to 8% on top of that. To give you guys some real facts that people sleep on life insurance and think it's a game. Walt Disney, the dude that created McDonald's, Ray Clark, I've written down. Both these dudes borrowed from their life insurance policy to create Walt Disney and have McDonald's. That's why it's not a game of life insurance. People think it's, oh yeah, no, it's life insurance is silly, but no, you can use life insurance to make money and build generational wealth in your current state. The reason why I say that is because if you get a whole life policy or what's called a universal index policy, literally it's one of those things where you gain value. So if you get a policy, it's a $300,000 policy and it's year 10, 15, you could possibly be able to borrow $10,000 to $40,000, $50,000 outside of that policy. So if you're coming in on hard times or you want to invest in something or you're about to buy a house, you can borrow from that money, which is creating cash flow for you right now while you're alive. You know what I mean? Like, so life insurance policies make you money. Literally, the quote they have is millionaires base their wealth on life insurance. Most millionaires statistically use life insurance as one of the major tools to build their wealth. Why? It's tax-free money while it's building. So you get one of these products, it's tax-free money. Uncle Sam doesn't touch it while you're building. So you can stack and stack. You can overfund your policy, put a little bit more extra money in it. But the point of the matter is that you get benefits while you're living. And if you get critically ill, you know, a life and death situation, terminally ill, most policies will give you 75% of your money. So you don't even have to wait till you die to collect on most of that money. So for example, if you got a $200,000 policy, you get critically ill, something happened, you can live your life in paradise. Why? They can pay you out $150,000 on the spot to live out the rest of your life if you want to. You know what I mean? If you do die, you can pass that on. So like I said, the point of the topic is you don't just leave a memory, you actually leave people with money. So if you do die, one, people don't got to scramble around. You don't got to do these GoMe funds and try to get everybody in the family, everybody, mom, let's put down $200 here. Let me borrow $1,000 here. Right. Can I bring $500? No. Funeral paid for, best funeral, and leave some money for the grandkids, leave some money for the kids, leave some money for some brothers. Imagine a situation where you got a $400,000 or $500,000 policy and you die and you get to leave your family that type of money. You know what I mean? Each person get $50,000, $60,000. That's how you change your life. That's how you get generational wealth. So that's why it's huge to get life insurance. You know what I mean? But yeah.
That's crazy. That's something I think a lot of people, don't really know about. You know what I'm saying? As far as being able to borrow that money, you know what I mean, to actually make shit go down. So that's another good thing about it. So in the chat said, how does it work if you're married? Can you bypass your spouse based off the beneficiaries on your policy, or do they get money automatically?
No, so it depends on the type of policy. I mean, a lot of times you just have to put, your spouse automatically depends on the type of policy can be put on there if you're married. It's just how it's created. So it's a bunch of options. One, you can name your spouse. Of course, you will name your spouse. Who wouldn't name their spouse? You know what I mean? And you can remove them if you get divorced. I mean, that's the reality situation. But you can name your spouse. But depending on the type of policy, it automatically adds your spouse on there. Or if it's not one of those policies, you can physically add them on there.
Right. And you can choose your beneficiaries.
Yeah.
So even if you're married, you can have a policy that has nothing to do with your wife. You could put the beneficiary. But it's like, so your wife is like your next of kin thing. So it's like sometimes if there's no beneficiary, they just do the next of kin, which would be your significant other, your spouse. You understand? But if you're not married, then they do your next of kin, which is probably a sister or a parent or something like that. You see what I'm saying? Depending on the policy, like Rashidi said. But yeah, marriage doesn't lock you into your wife having to automatically be the beneficiary. You can set your beneficiary. So, if you married and you got a life insurance policy, you could put your side piece on the life insurance policy as a beneficiary. So when you die, the side piece get the money. You understand? Just make sure your wife don't know about the life insurance policy.
Right. That's crazy. That's some savage shit. So wait, so when you do the beneficiary, can you say, let's say you're like, I want to split this money between 3 people, right? Can you say, I want this person to get this percentage, that person to get that percentage, and this person to get this other smaller percentage? Or is it split equally, or like how does that work?
No, so you have those options depending on the policy you get. You know what I mean? When you want to get that detail, you can. You split it on who gets what percentage. It's just that you have to lay it out very specifically and address that from day one when you're setting up the policy. So you do have the option to do that. You just got to let them know that you do want to do that, because the life insurance policy is very specific on how you leave it in terms of who's getting what type of money and who's in charge, based on pecking order, who dies and what time and all that type of stuff. Right.
That's the real shit. So Cassius said, I'm confused. What does this have to do with game? Chaz, this is the money game. You see what it says money game at the bottom right there, right? But in back of us, this is the money game channel, bro. You feel what I'm saying? So we talk about money, life, different topics. You know what I'm saying? Because according to people, women, we can't talk about women all the time. That's what they said. So we had to do this. You feel what I'm saying? So,
what does this have to do with game? Did you get a life insurance policy when you went on VH1? This nigga's trolling.
I know he's trolling on his ass. What's interesting is that I want to know how do you get to because I like the fact that you got the benefits of being able to borrow money from the life insurance, right? But how do you I guess in your opinion, what is the hardest thing to get people to get life insurance? Like what's the hardest thing to, I guess, market it to people, to get people to understand it or get people to want to do it? Like, what do you think is the hardest part about that whole thing?
I mean, the hardest part of it is really just talking about death. A lot of people don't like to face death, to be honest with you. People shut it down because one, it's not tangible, it's not something you could grab, it's not something you could buy. You don't see it, that it doesn't help you every day. Like, you know what I mean? You buy a stereo, you can listen to music, you know what I mean? You buy food, you can eat it. Life insurance is just there. So nobody takes it serious, because when you got rent to pay and you got your cell phone bill, a lot of people what am I gonna let slide? My rent or my cell phone bill, my life? Forget this life insurance policy. I ain't worrying about that. And that's what people do. You know what I mean? But the reality of the situation, if you incorporated it, is more valuable than all of those products. You know what I mean? Because you can pay rent, you lose that money. You pay rent, it's gone, it's done. You know what I mean? Your cell phone bill, you pay a bill, it's done, it's over. Life insurance, it's literally an investment, just for the fact that you can borrow it from hard times to actually pay those bills that you push it off to not pay. You know what I mean? So, and people don't realize that, and it's one of those things where, first of all, RKT, well, we really talk to people. We just have real conversations and I tell people the truth. I mean, I ask people all the time, if you can't afford to bury yourself, why is somebody else paying for your burial? It's a burial. So like if you die, not only you're not leaving people money, but then now everybody that you love got to scramble to bury you, to put you more in a hole, and you can't even afford to bury yourself.
Right.
Why do it for them? So if you have anybody that you care for, and I get it, some people don't love nobody in the world, but if you at least have one person that you care for in life, why would you not get a life insurance policy? Because they can bury you in peace, and they can get a little bit of money to help better their life, which is what you want to do anyway. Because who do you know that don't want to help better somebody's life or help them? Like, let's be honest.
That's some real shit. So LTSD said, LaCarter Miles, you can get a whole life policy and get cash value / loans from it, which rich people use life insurance as an investment tool, take out cash from the policy and invest in a new business. Yeah, that's what you were saying earlier. Rashid. And Star Trek says, can you cash out life insurance if you come on hard times, or is it like car insurance? It's gone like any bill.
Yeah, so that's a good question. So you can cash out whole life policies and index universal life policies. And so that's a great question. Why? Because most people don't know about different types of life insurance policy. That's why you want to get to the right representative like RKT Appraisals to really break down different types of policies. So there's cheap policies out there that they throw out there, which is term policies, which is just a term, a 10-year term, 25-year term, which means after 10 years, that policy is done. You finish, that is gone. You didn't die in that 10 years. You can't borrow from it, blah, blah, blah. So those particular policies, like Star Trek said, no, you can't borrow money from it and just cash it out. But whole life and index universal life policies that last for your whole life, pretty much, you can borrow from them and you can cash them out. So, it's one of those things that, I always give the perfect example, with my own father, man. He had grown up, he always would be like, oh, man, I'm broke, man. So they taking money out of my account all the time. And we just thought he was just talking, nothing serious. And it turned out he had like 20 life insurance policies since he started working, in his late 20s. Because he was type of dude, though. He's the type of dude where, you want to help out the family and take care of the family. And people kept selling him life insurance policies. So to Star Trek's point, in that situation, when I found out he had all these life insurance policies when he had left the job that he had been at for like 30 years and retired from there, at that point, I cashed out some of those policies because it didn't make sense to have all those life insurance policies. And with some policies, we got $1,000 from. There's a couple policies we got like $2,000-$3,000 from. There's a couple policies we got like $7,000-$8,000 from. Right. Because there are a bunch of policies, and you can cash them out and shut it down. So yes, to answer the question, you can.
That's what's up. So you're saying that you can have like your kids can get a life insurance policy. So let's say you have like a 15-year-old or something like that. You give them a life insurance policy, whatever. Are they allowed to say who the beneficiary is on their own, or does the parent have to do it because they're not like over 18 or some shit like that?
Yeah, so the parent has to do it at that point. So what happens with those particular type of policies, if you're under 18, your parent has to do it. They set you up with the policy. And then once you turn 18, you're now eligible for the policy to go in your name and for you to take it over.
Right.
That just comes down to discussion with you and your parents type thing. Exactly. Right. So that you can turn 18 and take over the policy yourself. At that point, it's just having that conversation with your parents, or your parents pushing it on to you. Because best believe I have policies for my son, and once he gets around 25 and he can afford it, like, you paying for this now. Like, I'm not paying for your life insurance policy going forward. Things like that. So
right. No, that's some real shit. Just make sure they don't put the beneficiary some new chick they got a crush on in their school. That'd be hilarious.
Listen, this new generation, man, I wouldn't put it past them.
You know what I'm saying? Do some crazy shit. Be like, damn, that's crazy. Oh my goodness. But yeah, so we coming around to the end here, to the end. So what are some steps that people could take? So like if they get in contact with you, to get their life insurance stuff popping, like what can they do? What can they look forward to? What are like the protocols that they would need to go through and all that other stuff? And what are some like things that they should know, I guess, when it comes to like starting out and making it happen? So what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the first thing is just call RKT, to be honest with you. But just to give you some general information, man, is just, some stuff that they could do is just really just knowing your medications. If you have medications, have that stuff prepared. If you do take medication for stuff like that. mental medication, for depression, things like that. That's the main thing, because all it is when it comes to life insurance, just knowing what you're taking, what your body's going through. So just coming prepared to talk about personal things as far as what goes on in your physical body, because that's one thing where people are very sensitive of. That's another reason why people don't like doing life insurance, because they're sensitive about talking about, hey, I got diabetes, hey, I got AIDS, like, you know what I mean? Like, nobody wants to talk about that type of stuff. So that's what hurt people. But just really being prepared to talk about some uncomfortable stuff about your life. But once we get it out the way, we'll figure out what policy works for you and your situation.
You also got to be prepared to many policies. Somebody gonna come out to your house and you got to take a physical.
Correct.
Like they're gonna come take your blood. They're gonna take your piss. They're gonna do the take your height, your weight, your blood pressure, and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? So be prepared for that too. Depending on the policy that you get, or sometimes you have to go someplace and get a physical done. You understand? Because they want to see, they want to see if you're a healthy person, and then that's gonna decide on the type of policy that, like, how much you got to pay and how much death benefit you get and all this and all that. You know what I'm saying?
So do they do that to make sure that you're not about to die quick or some shit like that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, people do it all the time now. Real talk. People get a terminal illness and try to sneak through and get a life insurance policy and get paid out.
That's what I was thinking, because I'm like, if I know I got 6 months to live, then I'm saying? I'm trying to... and it's ridiculous.
Cause think about it. I got one done the other day, and the woman came out to the house. This young lady, she had a whole kit. She had a little, she's like a registered. She's a nurse and all this shit. You know what I'm saying? But her only job is to do life insurance screenings. Like, she just drive around all day and just do life insurance screenings. So imagine they're paying her a full salary just to do that. So consider how much money is in the whole life insurance game. You know what I'm saying? There's real shit out there.
Did she have to, check your prostate? So let's ask this question. He said, "What pitfalls insurance tries so they can skip out on paying out to give your grieving beneficiary?"
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I'll say none. I've been in the insurance industry in 10 years. The truth is that as long as there's nothing fishy going on, they'll pay you. Because remember, when it comes to life insurance, they're getting paid. They're making crazy millions off of you. Your policy, they invest that in the stock market, so they're making money off you. So all they care about is paying you. They just want to make sure you ain't jerking them. Like you said, it's something suspicious. Like, all right, I'm about to die in 6 months. They didn't make any money off you, because if you get $1 million policy and you're about to die in 6 months, they're paying you $1 million, so then they get to make the $1 million back. So no, there is no pitfalls. You pay the money. You ain't doing nothing slick like trying to kill somebody, or to get the policy, or murder, they're gonna lose money. You all right. As long as you do no suspicious activity, and this is across the board with all insurance, as long as there's no funny business going on, or you red flag them, like, oh yeah, if there's no funny business going on, you're good to go. They will pay you out. They just deny people, like, and the big one to wrap it up is car insurance. So a lot of times there's a lot of car insurance fraud. So you'll get somebody that run into a wall to get a payment out for a car insurance thing. So the reason why the insurance company questioned you was just like, wait, so why were you driving at 4:00 in the morning and you ran into a random wall? What were you doing?
I was joyriding with Jesse Smollett.
Exactly right. Exactly. People gonna try to catch COVID on purpose so they can get.
We was going to Subway to get something to eat.
That shit crazy, man. Oh my goodness. I'm like, because I'm telling you, man, these people out here with these schemes and scams. You know what I'm saying? I could imagine, like, that'd be a good ass movie, like a good move storyline, like, people taking out life insurance policies or getting people to do it, and then they get other people to kill them in order to get the fucking money. Some stupid
random hitmen.
Bro. Exactly.
Insurance fraud is $3 billion a year. That means people get away with robbing insurance about $3 billion worth a year.
Damn.
But that tells you how much money is in it, how much money could be made.
That's crazy. Damn. That's some shit right there, man. That's wild, man. But listen, man, we appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you guys go to rktappraisals.com, hit up my dude Rashidi, and make that happen. Anything else you want to say before we get up out of here?
Yeah, man. Contact us, man. Give us a call, man. Get this life insurance policy, man. It'll save you money and you leave money for your family, man. That's my message for today.
Exactly. All right, people, we out of here. Remember, the truth is inside you. Peace. We go on. We out.